Welcome to a special moment in ABC and Australian television history. Tonight, in place of the 7:30 report, we're launching ABC News24, an entirely new channel broadcasting news and analysis around the clock and around the nation, further expanding a proud tradition of quality journalism that began with ABC Radio more than 60 years ago. In just a moment, ABC News24 presenters Ali Moore and Scott Bevan will mark the launch of the new channel with a special program, simulcast both on ABC One and digital Channel 24 over the next hour. But first we're going to reflect on and count down some of the great defining moments in news, as brought to you by the ABC through the decades.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
One becomes tired, one becomes not quite 100%.
I have a dream.
In the last 6 months, the people of Saigon have learned what it's like to be the centre of fighting.
I must put the interests of America first.
This is Mike Hayes for ABC News, and the wreckage of was once a bloody good place to live.
Well, may we say, God save the Queen, because nothing will save the Governor-General.
Before the accident, it was home to 50,000 people. Now it's a dead city.
Any boss who sacks anyone for not turning up today is a bum.
Dingo's got my baby.
It's an historic and a highly emotional moment. For practical purposes, the Berlin Wall has been all but torn down.
These tanks have just provided an escort for about 30 troop trucks, which have come into Tiananmen Square from the east of the city.
This is a victory for the true believers.
That is the man who the world has been waiting to see.
Hong Kong people are to run Hong Kong.
If there ever was any semblance of democracy in Thailand, it's been lost out on the bloody streets of the capital tonight.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the 8th missile that we've just seen fired.
A muffled phrase before dawn. Yes, I can hear you.
The government appeared excited, but was in total control of the situation.
We will decide who comes to this country.
The winner is Cindy.
A civilian car approached quickly and was shot at, and the occupants were almost certainly killed.
This doesn't represent the end. It represents the beginning of uncertain times.
More than 36 hours after these attacks began, the situation is still changing.
Not everyone has left New Orleans. They're desperate and dangerous.
I am sorry.
Just a few moments ago, an aftershock.
Yes, we can. We have to move. I'm sorry, Juanita.
Ladies and gents, we need to clear now Russell Square.
Hello and welcome to ABC News24, a new chapter in Australia's news media. I'm Scott Bevan.
And I'm Ali Moore. Tonight we'll introduce you to a new digital broadcast service that covers news as it breaks and wherever it happens, with the same commitment to the ABC's rich tradition of independent, accurate reporting.
The service is now available on digital Channel 24, live online and soon through mobile devices. Tonight, in this first broadcast, ABC News24 will take you around the nation to define issues that will shape the agenda for Australia's next government.
And we'll look beyond our borders to the challenges facing some of our neighbours and allies.
I'm Kim Landers on the streets of Chicago. As the temperature rises, so does the crime rate, and police here are struggling to deal with a deadly summer of violence.
I'm Emma Alberici at the 2012 Olympic site in East London. The former British government said it would never have bid for the Games had it known the financial crisis was around the corner. Now, with the second biggest budget deficit in the developed world and fears of a double-dip recession, can the country actually afford to see this mammoth project through?
I'm Stephen McDonnell in the port of Tianjin. At the moment, China's voracious appetite for Australian iron ore continues. But how long can this go on for?
I'm Paul Lockyer at the mouth of the Murray River in South Australia, but the only water that's moving here is coming in from the sea.
What will it now take to correct this environmental catastrophe?
Hello, I'm Paul Kennedy and I'm on Palm Island. I've come here to talk to Catherine Freeman, the great Olympic champion. 10 years after Sydney, she's found herself a new challenge.
Also tonight, Tasmanian dairy farmers desperate to leave their land. Now they're pitching to foreign investors. From Jakarta, Matt Brown explores the growing threat of a Muslim vigilante group. And Sarah Everingham reveals a revolution in healthcare pioneered in the most remote Aboriginal communities.
Reporting from Washington,
From London,
Moscow, Jerusalem, Beijing,
Darwin,
Canberra,
Brisbane, Melbourne, Sydney.
But first tonight, we're heading to Canberra. Our political leaders might have suspended campaigning to attend the funeral of Australia's latest military casualty. But the war in Afghanistan continues. And tonight, the ABC can reveal serious concerns about the way the former Prime Minister Kevin Rudd administered national security. It also raises fresh questions about Julia Gillard's role as Mr Rudd's deputy and whether she expressed any concerns. Let's cross live now to ABC News 24's political editor, Chris Uhlmann. Chris, what can you tell us?
Well, Scott, just a month ago, Kevin Rudd was Prime Minister. Today, he's campaigning as a backbencher. If the government's re-elected, Julia Gillard says she'll give him a job on the front bench, and he clearly wants foreign affairs. But questions are being asked about the wisdom of that as more light shed on the way he ran the Supreme Cabinet Security Committee. The National Security Committee of Cabinet is where the gravest decisions of government are made, from the conduct of war to the protection of the borders. Commonwealth officials and Cabinet sources have told the ABC that as Prime Minister, Kevin Rudd showed a casual disregard for the National Security Committee, keeping it waiting for hours or missing meetings and allowing his 31-year-old Chief of Staff to stand in for him. Officials were appalled and some complained because they believe it compromised the work of the committee. One senior official said that in his nearly 30 years of dealing with this committee and its earlier incarnations, he couldn't remember a Prime Minister treating it with such disdain.
Kevin Rudd said national security was his key job.
Ladies and gentlemen, there is no greater responsibility for government than that of national security. The defence of our nation, the protection of our people, the upholding of the values we live by and the interests which we hold dear, these are paramount.
And one body above all is charged with ensuring Australia's safety.
The National Security Committee of Cabinet is the principal decision-making body for Australia on the range of defence, foreign